Okay. No intro today. That's fine. Welcome into a Monday edition of the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Nick Whalen back with my guy, Alex Barutha. Alex, we had to take a 1 week hiatus, or at least I did. I know the show went on here. I appreciate you and Kieran and the rest of the crew holding down the forts over the last week and a half. I am indeed the father of a child now. I've had very little success engaging her in any fantasy basketball, fantasy football discussion. She just doesn't seem very interested, but hopefully in the long term, maybe we'll start playing these podcasts in a room at night. We can get her in the mix.
She didn't get to draft.
You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe fantasy baseball. Maybe that'll be her bag. Yeah. We'll find out. Anyway, nonetheless, a lot to talk about this week. Kind of a unique week in the NBA schedule. No games, of course, on Thanksgiving. So a lot of 3-game weeks out there. Still a handful of teams playing 4 games, but a lot of those are back-to-backs. That is something that has particularly troubled many players on my most important teams, Alex. I was just telling you about Jakob Poeltl. I don't know how long he's not going to be playing back-to-backs. Like, I could technically put Kawhi back in my lineup this week, but it's really a 2-game week for him if he even makes it that far. But a lot of injury situations to discuss. So we'll start there. We'll hit plenty of questions from the chat throughout the show. We'll talk about some of our biggest surprise players so far this season. But just looking at tonight, I mean, the Heat and the Cavs have some pretty absurd injury reports. Cleveland has a big game against Toronto tonight, and I kind of thought the Cavs, with how they handled their injuries last week, were kind of gearing up to throw everybody out there against Toronto. No Jared Allen, no Darius Garland, no DeAndre Hunter, Sam Merrill also out. Max Strus, he's been out a little bit longer term. So a number of key guys not out there tonight for the Cavaliers. And then Norman Powell, who has been just carrying my stake league team so far this season. He got hurt the other night, looked bad. He's limping to the locker room, comes back like 5 minutes later, plays the rest of the game, plays fine. And now he's set for an MRI. So we don't have anything definitive quite yet on Norm Powell, but it sounds as though this will be more than just 1 or 2 games.
I'm not surprised the Cavs are sitting guys. If I'm reading this schedule correctly, they haven't had more than like 1 or 2 days off.
Yeah.
In like almost a month. So, and the NBA's front loading schedules for the NBA Cup and whatnot. So yeah, we're getting a lot of injuries. It's been tough. Who were you dealing with injured?
Norman Powell for the Heat, which times out fairly well because Tyler Hero, of course, is expected to make his return tonight.
Yeah. I mean, well, he doesn't have a timetable. He's got a groin injury. Right. Giannis has a groin injury. I think we were all expecting Giannis to be out for a week or 2. To me, a groin injury is like, that's a week no matter what. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Powell was going to be out for 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, it was a weird situation. I was watching that game yesterday afternoon. He goes out, comes right back in, looks like it's nothing. And then we don't find out any information until this morning that it is indeed a strain. So 3-game week for Miami, not the end of the world. I guess in my situation, I could just swap in Hero, even if there's a minutes limit. I think he's still a viable starter this week, but would hope to get Norm Powell back for that 4-game week in advance of the NBA Cup. Just a litany of injuries to run through here. Denver, both Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown now looking at extended absences. So that's 2 starters out. For the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon set to miss, they're saying, at least 4 to 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. Brown kind of on a similar timetable. I think it's Peyton Watson's season.
It is Peyton Watson's season. Yeah, I think he, offensively still really up and down. Obviously, he's going to get a little more usage here, but the minutes are the main thing. Playing 34 minutes a game for 5 straight games, exactly 34 minutes. Now that's a tight rotation. But yeah, steals and blocks if you need them, plus the rebounds. Certainly, I think should be added in 12-team leagues for as long as both Brown and Gordon are out.
Yeah, I mean, we saw more Bruce Brown this last game against Sacramento on Saturday. We saw more Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench. Like you said, it was really condensed. Cam Johnson played 37 minutes, which is great because he needs a little more run just to kind of get the volume that hasn't been there. 25-4 for him in that game with 4 threes. So making some progress at least. Spencer Jones moved into the starting lineup, did very little in his 24 minutes. I think Watson to me is the obvious one. Maybe Hardaway as a streamer, I think has some appeal just because, he's going to fire when he's out there, but there's not necessarily a super obvious pivot beyond Watson.
I mean, Cam Johnson was dropped in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
And so was subsequently then added in a lot more leagues and, is seeing a bit more usage, but really not the amount that you would still want to see. Especially because like past 4 games for Cam Johnson, he's averaging 16 points, but he's also doing so on 57% shooting from both the field and from 3. So he's still in a zone where he might just end up averaging, when both Brown and Gordon are out, he might just average like 13, 4, and 3, which is borderline.
Yeah. And I think you'll take that based on how the first 2 weeks of the season went for
True.
Cam Johnson. Memphis, Ja Morant out at least 2 weeks with a calf strain. Could obviously be well beyond that. It does kind of run into the NBA Cup, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Jaren Jackson, missed their last game as well. Pretty alarming starting lineup being thrown out there for Memphis. But I know Vince Williams, he was a big claim in the Stake League this weekend. Jalen Wells is starting. Cedric Howard should see a little bit of a bump. We kind of go through this every year, it feels like, with Memphis, where they, 2 random dudes who you feel like should be in the G League end up starting and producing.
That is the case. Although this year, it's at least nice we get to see Cedric Howard, who has been fantastic as a rookie.
Yep.
Vince Williams thing, I mean, he's very bizarre to me as a player. Dealt with a lot of injuries, kind of ruined his development. But the fact that he's able to go out there and just get you almost 10 assists a game as a starting point guard is pretty interesting. And it's nice having Zach Edey back. He's yet to have a truly monster game, although he is coming off 12, 15, 3 with 4 blocks against the Mavericks.
The poor Mavericks, man. Just a tough watch on a nightly basis. So Vince Williams, he's had 6 games this year where he's played at least 25 minutes. 4 of those have been starts. In those games, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. Not going to shoot it super efficiently. He's not a high volume 3-point guy necessarily, although he did take 10 against the Celtics a couple weeks ago. But you're really in it for those, the rebounds and the assists, just the counting stats. So I mean, Memphis, I don't know what direction this team is going. Probably not up right now. The Morant absence doesn't really help anything, but at least provide some opportunity for us in fantasy. Vince Williams, by the way, went for $11 in the 15-team Stake League. That's out of a $100 budget. Any other notable waiver wire ads for you, either in Stake or your other big leagues?
Notable waiver wire ads. Thankfully, I haven't had to add too many. I'm in a 12-team roto where I'm in first, so I haven't had to do too many moves. I don't know. I mean, people are adding Anthony Black, because of Paolo being out. I think that was fine. We were talking about, you have Jay Huff on your roster. He was the 3rd most added player on Yahoo today.
I will be starting Jay Huff in this very important league. 4-game week. And, I'm in desperate need of blocks. I'm in need of rebounds. He's played 20 plus minutes in each of the last 2 games. I mean, you never know right now with the Pacers and that rotation, but it's like my other option is Jared Allen, who obviously isn't playing tonight. So then it's like, all right, maybe 2 games of Jared Allen versus 4 of Jay Huff. Pirtle is another option, and he's probably not going to play back-to-backs and has been really inconsistent. So rolling the dice a little bit there. Again, it's a 15-team league, so I'm not saying you should be starting Jay Huff everywhere, but I'm trying to justify this decision for me. And look, I drafted Bobby Portis in this league, or I bought him in the auction for $1. Dropped him a couple weeks ago. It was terrible. I have now picked him back up, and I think there's a pretty real world now with Norman Powell being out where I'm going to be starting both Portis and Jay Huff. I
mean, the one thing we know about Portis and why I thought he was draftable in a 12-team league is what if Giannis misses 2 weeks, right?
He lives for this. He loves this.
He loves this, and this is exactly the case. And he had been playing a little bit better before Giannis got hurt. Even I think, look, he's just a usage guy. He's not a great defender. Has not had a block in a game since October 28th. But if he's going to play 28 minutes, he's worth rostering. That's kind of what it comes down to for Bobby.
I honestly respect it at this point. It's like, look, I'm not going to play defense. I'm not going to get you any steals. I'm not going to block any shots. I'm just out there to get you a few rebounds and get my points.
He's taken the Carlos Boozer shot diet from the Chicago Bulls as well. It's just 16-foot baseline jumpers.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not excited about it, but it is what it is. Like you said, Giannis out, likely to miss at least another week. Bucks now 1-3 on the year without him. And that one win came earlier when it was just a one-off miss game for Giannis against Golden State. So 0-3 now in this most recent stretch. We had an injury on Friday to OG Anunoby for the New York Knicks. This is another one of those muscle injuries, out at least 2 weeks. They're saying he'll be reevaluated in a couple of weeks. So that's a tough one because OG had been playing really well.
He was, yeah. I have him in our 20-team auction league with basically everyone in the RotoWire office who even knows what a basketball is.
I think the janitors are in that one. Yeah.
Right. I mean, this I will say the thing about this absence is it helps everybody who is just clinging to Josh Hart.
Yeah.
Like, he can't be this bad. There's got to be more opportunity. And, Josh Hart's getting 30 minutes a game now. And, Yabusele is getting in there and stuff like that. But it hasn't been a major win for, like, Jordan Clarkson's still going to be up and down, stuff like that.
Yeah, the Knicks rotation isn't what it was last year when it was like, all right, if OG's out, then everybody else, you picking up the slack. You're all playing 7 more minutes for the rest of the next 2 weeks here. Like they do incorporate a little bit more depth, but yeah, Clarkson's always tough for me. It's like if you catch him on the right week, it could certainly work out. You also might catch him on a week when he's shooting 24% from the field and he tanks your field goal percentage. So I'm trying not to go down that road. But yeah, I mean, Yabusele, there's just not really enough there for me. I think you kind of nailed it with Josh Hart being the guy who benefits most here. Let's see what we got for other injuries. So Kelly Oubre, he's going to miss a couple weeks. I mean, there's so many moving pieces with the Sixers that it's hard to really diagnose like what exactly that means. Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe are both missing time for Portland. Holiday looks like it'll be a little bit more long-term. Trey Johnson, he's without a timetable, dealing with a hip flexor injury. Somebody who had a couple nice games early on. Overall, though, I think I've been more impressed with just his pure real life scoring ability. Like not a whole lot there in terms of fantasy right now.
Not really. Wizards are still, I mean, they're a tough watch. I kind of like watching them because they play in these like high scoring games, and I like the young guys. Like I like watching Keyonte George and Alex Sarr and guys like that. I just wish they would give a longer leash to Trey Johnson, Koulibaly or not Koulibaly. Bob Carrington has been so bad that the people are clamoring for Trey Johnson.
Yeah. The other one would be Domantas Sabonis. Obviously he's going to miss, sounds like a month at the minimum. I mean, it's a meniscus injury. That initial like 3 to 4 week timetable. Like that seemed pretty optimistic to me.
I think so. And they have 4 wins. So who knows what they're going to do? At the very least, they got Keegan Murray back. And to me, he should be added. Like I'm a Keegan Murray pessimist for the most part, but like this is the exact situation where you can add Keegan Murray now, even if he isn't startable necessarily, most weeks. Come February, I mean, there was a report the other day that the Kings are open to trading literally everybody on the roster except I think it was Keegan Murray and Nick Clifford
and Russell Westbrook,
and Russell, of course. So I think there's a chance like February, March, April that they're just going to feed Keegan Murray usage like he's never seen before and just get the most out of him.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because I'm doing a video for YouTube this week of like, players to sell. Like, would you try to get off of DeRozan? I know the value is not exactly, at its peak right now, but anybody who's bringing in DeMar DeRozan, is he going to have, especially for the next month here, like the clear number 1A, 1B, I guess if you want to call it that, with Levine and you got Westbrook running around out there too. But like, is there? It's almost like we used to talk about with Vucevic, where it's like, all right, if he's traded, he's not going to be like the number 1/number 2 option wherever he goes. Like, would you worry about that with DeRozan?
I would be trying to just get rid of DeRozan. I mean, honestly, per game 8 cat, he's 98th right now. Like it's if you can get any top 75 player back for DeRozan, you should just probably do it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's older, right? I think it's his age 36 season, but he also plays a ton of games. Like he's a 70+ game guy. So like even if you're selling him at somewhat of a discount, like there should be interest out there. The ups and downs have just been so much more dramatic this year than years past. Like 21 points one night, 8 points the next night. Like that usually does not happen with DeRozan.
No, it's been with the whole roster, because I've been rostering Dennis Schroeder in our 15-teamer. And like you look at the box score, I'd be like 2 points on 4 shots and 3 assists. And the next game he comes off the bench and puts up 25 and 7. And you're like, I don't even understand what's happening with the usage on this team. Like why? I sell everybody on the Kings except Keegan Murray.
The Kings are back to being the Kings, unfortunately. The Kings that most of us grew to know and love over the years. All right, we got a couple housekeeping items to take care of. Then we'll hit some questions from the chat. We are brought to you again this week by the good folks at Vivid Seats. The NBA is back in full swing. Don't just catch it on the couch. Lock in your seat this season with the Vivid Seats app, where you'll score the lowest price tickets guaranteed. That's right. Vivid Seats is introducing the new low price guarantee, so you know you're getting the best deal all season long. Seriously, try to find a cheaper ticket. Best of luck. Every dunk, every drive, every jaw-dropping play from your favorite team, you can see it live and in person. And here's the clincher. When you buy with the Vivid Seats app, you rack up rewards and free credits. Talk about a clutch home court advantage. And if that wasn't enough, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase. Just use the code ROTOWIRE. That's ROTOWIRE. So step into the NBA season like a pro. Download the Vivid Seats app. Get the best deal in the game with the best prices. Terms apply. We're also brought to you by Sling. Tired of paying for live TV you don't watch? With Sling, you can get all live sports, news, and entertainment you want only when you want it. Get your hands on a Sling Day Pass, Week Pass, or Weekend Pass starting at just $4.99. Get over 30 of your favorite channels for the best price and stop overpaying for full-time live TV plans. Sling has a pass for any occasion. Big game tonight? Grab a Day Pass for just $4.99. Want a full week of live TV for one low price? Get yourself a 7-day Week Pass. And for all those weekend watchers out there, you can enjoy live sports, news, and entertainment from Friday morning to Sunday night with a weekend pass. Only Sling lets you watch when you want, so you only pay for what you watch. Get live TV for the day, the week, or the weekend. Your choice, all for a great price. Watch live TV on your terms, starting at just $4.99. Sling lets you do that. Use the link below to sign up today. So if you're watching us live on YouTube, if you're watching the archive version, just scroll down. You'll see that link. And you could do the same if you are listening in podcast form. All right, some good questions stacking up in the chat as always here. We will start, at the top with a trade question. Harden and Kalkbrenner for Jaren Jackson Jr. and Rudy Gobert. Is that JJ? Is that Jalen Johnson? I don't know. It could.
It's probably got to be Jalen Johnson.
I think it's got to be Jalen Johnson here. There'd be another J if it was Jaren Jackson. So to rephrase that, Harden and Kalkbrenner for Jalen Johnson and Rudy Gobert. Who wins this trade?
I'd probably rather have Harden and Kalkbrenner, but I don't know. Part of me worries, like, is this Clippers thing, is this going to stay bad? Because if it is, then I have some concerns about, about Harden.
I agree, but the Clippers also don't own their pick, right? So they are highly, highly incentivized for this to get turned around at some point. I think the question is, are they capable of that?
I don't know.
Yeah, in general, I would usually want to get my hands on Harden because he's been immune to pretty much any situation. He always plays games. He always puts up numbers. Doesn't seem to matter how, for the most part, his teams have been competitive. And I think it can't get worse, I guess, for the Clippers. But at the same time, I think so much of that hinges on Kawhi, right? It's like if Kawhi plays 48 games this year, is that enough for the Clippers to remain competitive? I don't know. Like they're pretty uncompetitive when he's not out there unless they're playing a bottom feeder.
Yeah, and I mean on the Kalkbrenner Gobert front, at least, Kalkbrenner has been better than Gobert. He's a better fantasy player than Gobert right now. So that part of the trade, I mean, it's close. It's nothing insane, but that to me is almost a wash. So we're kind of talking about Harden for Jalen Johnson here, and
right.
I think I'd rather have Harden, but Jalen Johnson, especially because Trey is coming back, right?
Right.
Jalen Johnson is also going to just stay really good.
As long as he's healthy, yes. Good. No question. Yeah. All right. Question from Daniel. He says, would you drop any of the following to add Noah Clowney? Isaiah Collier, Royce O'Neal, TJ McConnell, or Jordan Goodwin?
I think dropping any of those guys is fine. I mean, Clowney is kind of giving you like just a lot of points, and everything else is pretty hit or miss. Like he had one rebound, I think, the other night, and it's kind of, he's just turned into a wing. So it's but he's kind of turned into Kelly Oubre.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the thing about Collier is he had a couple nice games, and then he was getting phased out of the rotation recently. Like he was dropped in a lot of leagues. I'm just not a Collier guy, so I think any of those guys is fine.
All right, we got a waiver wire question. Who's the best free agent pickup for the week? McCain, Spencer, McConnell, or Sexton?
Probably between Cam Spencer and Colin Sexton, I would say.
I think so. Yeah. I'm looking at what McCain. I don't know. The McCain thing is tough because, again, you never know who's going to be out there any given night for the Sixers. He got off to a terrible start shooting, wasn't playing that many minutes. Then he pops up and plays 26 minutes the other night. I McCain, to me, is not somebody I would prioritize here. I'm still on Sexton. I think we know it's a limited stat profile, but probably the most consistent of that group night to night.
I think so. And Cam Spencer is very good.
Yeah.
And obviously the Grizzlies have a lot of minutes available. McConnell, it's hard to say what is going to happen with McConnell because, I mean, this team has either 1 or 2 wins still. Yeah. He's 33 years old. Like, he has not played 20 minutes in a game yet. The whole idea of TJ McConnell was maybe he can play 25, 26 minutes a game for this team. But if he's not going to do that, then I just don't think it's worth it unless they're on a 4-game week.
All right, another question regarding Jalen Johnson. Is he a sell high in a 9-cat league? Initially, I would say no. I wouldn't. I don't feel like this is like overly fluky. You know, I know Trae Young is coming back and that'll have an impact, but we've seen Jalen Johnson put up ridiculous numbers when healthy over the last couple of years. But we'll say you are looking to sell him. Who would be a good target? Is Cade Cunningham too much? Is Scotty Barnes not enough? I think you're in the right general range. I don't think most people are going to give you Cade for Jalen Johnson. Like that's just not going to happen. Scotty Barnes, maybe a little more doable.
Yeah. I would, in this order, I would rank them Cade, Jalen Johnson, Scotty Barnes. And you're right. If I had Cade, I would not do it. If I had Scotty Barnes and someone said, I will trade you Jalen Johnson, I would definitely think about it and probably do it, especially if I didn't need the steals and blocks. But that's you're in the right ballpark.
Yeah, I'm looking at some other guys who rank in that kind of general range. I mean, would you do it for, I don't know, like a Şengün or Towns or Giddey? You know, I'm looking at just 8-cat ranks, so this could be tailored to your own league.
Yeah, those are all the right guys. Like, is it a sell high? Again, I don't think so because I think Jalen Johnson, even when Trae comes back, he still projects as like a top 25 player.
Yeah. All right, interesting one here from David. He says, I have Sabonis and KD on my team. Extremely disappointed in their performance. Should I look to trade one or both of those players? I was thinking of doing a 2-for-1 targeting SGA.
That's awesome.
I admire it. I don't think you're going to get that one done, especially with Sabonis hurt right now. Would you have even considered that like coming into the year? If someone said, "Hey, I'll give you these," yeah,
no,
I don't think so either. He's so singularly valuable. He plays every game.
No, to me, if I had Shea, I would need another first round player and then like someone who I just have a lot of confidence in, which was like not Sabonis.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would have been. It might have been like if you had, this would be a more interesting question if it was like, I'll give you Jalen Johnson and Josh Giddey. I might be like, okay, now we're having a conversation. But yeah, I mean, if the question is broadly, should you be looking to trade, hold KD and Sabonis? I would probably be trying to move Sabonis. I'm not that worried about KD.
Yeah. Yeah, I think KD's fine. The counting stats aren't what they have been in the past necessarily, but all the efficiency's been there. Rockets are a good team. There's too many warning signs, I think, with Sabonis. Even if they hold him, like you said, everybody's for sale apparently on this roster. They're not going to trade everybody, and I would say it's probably unlikely that he is dealt. I mean, we're getting into already like, would he be shut down at some point? He's already had multiple injuries early in the season. Like there are some warning signs there with Sabonis. So maybe you have to wait until he actually comes back from this latest injury to get full value. But even if you don't do it right now, I would keep that in mind for the next month. All right. Question here from Frederico. He says, keeping Sarr in IR in order to not drop Jalen Smith and dropping Collins to activate Edgecombe, whether he plays Tuesday. Are these the right moves? A lot going on here.
You should activate Sarr 100%. Just drop Jalen Smith. So. It's not a big deal. Alex Sarr is like a top, I don't even know what he is at this point. He's putting up top 50 numbers still.
Yeah, 43.
So I would deploy Sarr as quickly as possible. So the other one, drop John Collins to activate Edgecombe. Yeah, John Collins is not good anymore.
Yeah, I had higher hopes for John Collins, especially with the opportunity that he's had, with Kawhi missing time, and it just has not been there whatsoever. All right, question here, just a one or the other. Josh Hart or Kelly Oubre in a 12-team head-to-head. And we should note Kelly Oubre is going to miss a couple weeks. So right now, obviously, the answer is Hart, but we'll assume both are healthy.
I would rather have Hart rest a season. Yeah. I don't, the usage situation in Philly, I don't know. Hart, I at least trust Hart to give me stuff I don't know how to explain it. Like Oubre is giving you just points and he's not consistent. I understand Hart was not playing that much before Anunoby got hurt and Brunson missed some time. But at this point, I think I would just rather trust Josh Hart.
All right, this is kind of an abstract question, but Manila Most Wanted asks, can we have a real life and fantasy projection on AD going forward?
Well, so I want to propose this to you,
okay.
Which is essentially what team would you need to be to trade for Anthony Davis? Because he also is contract extension eligible, right? I mean, this is the huge issue, which is you have 30, however old Anthony Davis, and he's up for a max contract extension, which would pay him something like 60, 70 million dollars through his age 35, 36 season.
I don't know if, like, what team would that make sense for? You know, is anybody desperate enough? Is there a team that would want to but couldn't because of cap reasons? Like my mind immediately went to the Suns, you know, who are like better than we thought. They played the easiest schedule in the West, so that's a big part of it. And they have an owner who would like totally do something like this. I also, without looking, I have no idea if they could actually even pull that off. I don't know. I mean, you have a little bit more of an arms race in the East, you know, like a Toronto. Like, you know, could they do a consolidation type of trade? You upgrade Jakob Poeltl. Those would be the two that come to mind. There's not going to be much of a market, right? I mean, we've kind of, Anthony Davis in our minds has been like, oh, Anthony Davis, top 10 guy when healthy for so long, but like there's like turnover now with some of these older stars. You know, like a lot of these guys who felt like they would be 27 forever are now like 34, and it's really, really difficult, right? Like Anthony Davis, I don't know if his value is at an all-time low because when he plays, he's still good. But the injury thing, which started in New Orleans, has just never slowed down. You know, it's not like that concern is lessening as he gets older.
I agree, man. I think to trade for Anthony Davis at this stage feels like a desperation move.
Oh, big time.
Like there was
kind of a desperation move to get him to Dallas.
Right. And so I don't know. And first of all, you would need to have such a bad front court, I think, to even justify this and think you have a chance at a title. You know, I understand what you're saying with Toronto because you could just replace Poeltl with him. I don't think Boston would do something like this. They also have like no real assets.
No.
And I don't think if you're a team like Brooklyn or Sacramento, I mean, maybe they're desperate enough to say like, we just need a face to our team. Let's pair Michael Porter Jr. with Anthony Davis. Who cares?
Right.
All of our draft picks suck anyway. I guess we just go for it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wasn't drafting. Let's put it that. I was not drafting in terms of fantasy. I was not drafting Anthony Davis top 6, which he was going in a lot of leagues. And to me, he was like a guy at the turn. And I think it's going to be the same conversation next year. And he just was not a first round player anymore.
Yeah. I mean, as far as this question goes, like a realistic fantasy projection, I think the numbers could still be good. It's just a matter of how many games is he going to play. If you're in a weekly league, are you comfortable locking him in on a 3-game week, knowing that it could turn into a 1 or a 2-game week really, really easily? I mean, he was the 4 full games that he's played this season. He gave you 25, 12, 3, 2 steals and a block and a half. You know, like AD is still AD, I think, in Dallas. It's just a question of how healthy he's going to be.
I just, I don't trust him anymore.
Oh, me neither. Time to panic on Ausar Thompson.
I don't think so. I mean, I guess he had 2 kind of subpar games coming off of an ankle injury. I'm not panicking on him. No.
I mean, I thought first 10 games were fine. You know, missed time at kind of a disadvantageous spot because Tobias Harris was also missing games. Maybe that would have been, more of an opportunity for him. But I mean, in those 2 games, like I think it's easy to just look at points, rebounds, assists. Didn't give you much there. He also gave you 3 steals and 4 blocks in those 2 games, which is a big part of what you're after with Ausar Thompson. So I maybe the rebounds are something you worry about just because, they have so many capable rebounding big men and Cade can rebound and all that. But no, I wouldn't be panicking on him quite yet. All right, here is another trade question. Grayson Allen and Derik Queen for Deni Avdija in a 10-team points league.
I think I would still rather have Avdija. Grayson Allen has been really good, but I don't know if in a 10-team points league, he's a guy you would start every week. He's averaging 33 fantasy points per game, and obviously this has been without Jalen Green for almost the entire season.
Right.
And if he goes back to averaging like 28 in a 10-teamer, he's kind of a fringe starter. So I don't know if that's worth it. I think I would want Avdija.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm very intrigued by Derik Queen, and I think the Pelicans season is going in a direction where we're going to see more of Derik Queen. But yeah, the Allen piece to me, I wish we had a real sample with Jalen Green, because Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Dylan Brooks, Colin Gillespie are not like, I don't know if this is going to continue, is what I'm saying. And again, Suns have played a very, very easy schedule so far. It's been impressive, no question. But I want to see what that looks like with Jalen Green. We have an Alex Sarr trade question, kind of a post-mortem here. So Charlie says in one of his leagues, Alex Sarr went for Isaiah Stewart and Isaiah Collier. Is this a bad deal for the Sarr owner?
Yeah. I mean, Isaiah Collier might have the best PR of any terrible player in the NBA. Like I there's not really any number that you can point to say Isaiah Collier is good, other than the fact that he just passes the ball to his teammates and those guys shoot and score. I don't understand. I don't understand the fascination with Collier, to be honest. And Beef Stew is fine, but he's like kind of a bench player when everyone's healthy. Like all the stuff he's been doing. There were games where Jalen Duren was out. Tobias Harris has been out for like 2 weeks. There was a stretch of games where like everybody was out for Detroit. So
yeah, bad deal to make that official. Very bad deal for the Sarr owner. All right, we got one more message from one of our partners. That is Chalkboard. Cash in on your NBA picks this season with Chalkboard. Simply choose more or less on your favorite player stats to win up to 5,000 times your money. For a limited time only, new players receive a free pick and a 100% deposit match. You can see why over 1 million fans have already locked in with Chalkboard to turn their sports knowledge into cold, hard cash. Whether you're locking in the perfect slip with alternate lines, using the cash out feature to take your money and run, or hammering the daily promos, today is your chance to win up to $40,000 on a single entry. Stop sitting on the sidelines. Get into the game with Chalkboard Fantasy Sports, now available in 30-plus states. Download Chalkboard today. Use our promo code ROTONBA. That's ROTONBA. Download the Chalkboard app. Put in that code. You'll get a free pick and a 100% deposit match. All right, we'll hit a couple more questions here, Alex. Getting a lot of good trade questions today. Donovan Mitchell and Ryan Rollins for Tyrese Maxey and Darius Garland. This, again, is a 10-team points league.
I'm pretty sure I'd rather have Maxey and Garland.
I think so too. All due respect to Ryan Rollins, who I think on a per-game basis has been a top 30 guy so far this season.
I threw a little bit on the Ryan Rollins most improved player. I threw a little bit in there.
It's not a bad idea. What were the odds on that?
On the site I was using, it wasn't that good. 10-1.
It's not terrible.
You probably you could find a sports book that probably at the time had better odds, but
All right, so Maxey and Garland is the answer there. We have a 2-for-1 trade question. Would you trade Jamal Murray for Desmond Bane and Bam Adebayo?
I think so.
No question for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, Bane's been disappointing. I think he'll be fine. Even if he ends up being like a top 60 player, that's still a guy you start every week. The way I generally like to frame these is like, unless we're talking about like first round players, like clear first round elite fantasy players, if you're getting 2 guys back that you would start every single week, maybe even on 2-game weeks or every single day that they're available, if you're in a daily league for one guy, it's probably worth it.
I think so too. Yeah. I mean, I know it's been a rough start for Bane, but I think there's been some signs over the last couple of weeks that it'll look a little bit better. And like, it's not like he's Bradley Beal. He's not like the 350th best player. Like, he's still inside the top 100. So I would bet on the come there. All right. Who would you start this week? This is a 6-cat roto league. Both teams have 3 games. Reed Sheppard or Nickeil Alexander-Walker?
I think just Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He is balling. Like Alexander Walker over the past, I mean, I don't even have to do over the past. He's just been playing well. Like he's basically averaging 20 points, 4 assists this season. And I like Sheppard, and Sheppard's been getting better, but his role is still kind of, it's a little more up in the air than I would like it to be.
Yeah, I have Alexander Walker in the stake league. It was just like a throwaway pick at the end of the draft, and obviously with Trae Young going down, that's been it's been a windfall, that's for sure. Starting to do a little bit more in terms of rebounds and assists. still can't expect more than like 5 rebounds, 3-4 assists every night, but he gets you steals, he gets you blocks as a guard. Just taking an insane amount of shots, probably too many shots if we're being honest. But somebody's got to do it for Atlanta. So I would keep riding that at least until Trae Young makes his return. A lot of questions about the Toronto Raptors, Alex, with RJ Barrett undergoing imaging on his knee. So who fills in for RJ Barrett while he's out? Is there an ad here in Toronto?
A lot of Jamal Shed ads on Yahoo, I will say, because he was the guy that filled in terms of like he saw more minutes and ended up having, I think he had 11 and 9, and the game before that he had 7 and 10. So people are like really hyped about Jamal Shed. And to me, Shed is basically Davion Mitchell, which is funny because Davion Mitchell was also in Toronto, where it's like this guy will get you 6 points, 10 assists, 2 steals. So if you don't need assists, kind of not worth it. In terms of the other guys, Greggy Dick and Jacoby Walter, it's kind of just like whoever's hot, which is the problem. So I don't have faith in either of them.
Yeah, Grady and Walter are just, I think that could be kind of a night to night who has the hotter hand. I don't think there's a ton of upside there. So yeah, if you're doing some hunting there, I would lean towards Shed as well. Noah Clowney or Peyton Watson in a points league?
Clowney in a points league.
Yeah. I think Watson in category for me.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So that's an important distinction there. Let's see. Who do you think is the better buy low trade target? Mark Williams, Derik Queen, or Shaedon Sharpe?
Derik Queen is not a buy low. If anything, he's a sell high. But I would, to be clear, if you have Derik Queen, I would just hang on because I actually, like Nick and I discussed, they don't have their pick, all this stuff. Like Derik Queen looks awesome. I'm all in, even though I wasn't to begin the year.
Right.
Mark Williams, I think we're just going to have the same issues. Like he's going to be hurt and he's going to be rested and he's going to have some games. Like the Suns don't feature him on offense the way Charlotte featured him on offense. So what he's doing, I think, is basically what he's going to continue to be doing. So to me, he's not a buy low either.
Yeah.
Which leaves Shaedon Sharpe, who I think of these guys is the buy low. The usage is available for him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Queen. I mean, Queen's a buy high, if anything. And if you can get him for a reasonable price, sure, go for it. He's coming off of 3 straight 20+ point games. He's giving you all the counting stats. Like, yeah, it is what it is. Shaedon Sharpe, before he went down, so he's now missed 3 games in a row. I believe he's going to miss. Yeah, he's out again tonight, so that'll be 4 in a row. Started to see some signs prior to that injury. His last 6 games was averaging 28.5 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 51% from the field. Still not shooting it well from 3. And, that field goal percentage could very easily hover around that same number. Probably comes down a little bit in terms of his at the rim numbers, but the 3-point shooting will improve. Takes a ton of threes as well. So like the fact that he was shooting 25% from 3 in that span and still over 50% from the field is huge. So yeah, I think he's a perfect buy low guy, right? In Portland, they're kind of in the middle. Like they're not going to be a very good team, but they seem to want to be competitive. Like I don't really worry too much about like a shutdown concern for him. Like I would the Kings, who are just a complete disaster right now. They don't need to shut down Shaedon Sharpe to lose games.
There was and for as long, I forget how long Drew Holiday is out. It's gonna be a while, right? Multiple weeks.
He's one of those like will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks, guys. Yeah.
Kieran and I were doing the Sirius XM show on the NBA channel when you were gone, and I think it was one of the first or the second game that Drew Holiday was out. And I looked up Shaedon Sharpe's usage rate with Drew Holiday off the floor, and it was 40%.
Whoa!
And he was taking 1 combined field goal attempt and free throw attempt per minute while Drew Holiday was off the court. So if Drew Holiday is going to be out for a long time and Sharpe comes back soon, there's going to be some volume scoring like you can't imagine.
Yeah, and we don't know how long Sharpe is going to be out, but they're taking it day to day as opposed to Holiday, who they've already ruled out for multiple weeks. And on top of that, we got a little mini news nugget on Scoot Henderson over the weekend where it looks like at least another month at the absolute soonest that he'll be back on the floor. So I think that's another mark in favor of Shaedon Sharpe. We had an interesting question on Wembanyama here. How many more injuries until Wemby is a stay away in the first few picks?
So I get this question, but also he hasn't really been that injured. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Not really, no. I mean, I
he
know what you
played
mean. I'm saying you're right. Yeah.
he played 71 games as a rookie. And then last year he missed all that time because of deep vein thrombosis. And before that had missed like 5
Yeah.
games. And now he's been injured like once in his entire career this time.
Yeah.
So if your question is more like, should we be concerned that Wembanyama will get more soft tissue injuries because the history of guys who are 7'5" playing in the NBA is so little, then it's like, sure.
Yeah.
But not yet. Not yet. I'm not taking him out of my first 3 picks.
I mean, put it this way. We were just talking like 20 minutes ago about Anthony Davis, given everything that's happened in Anthony Davis's career injury wise, still being like the number 6 overall pick in a lot of drafts. Like the numbers are just overwhelming with Wembanyama. I don't know how many injuries would have to happen for people to like. People were still taking Joel Embiid in the first 2 rounds last year.
I know. So I maybe this is a better question if you're like, I'm in a dynasty league. Are you worried? I would still say no. I would just be holding.
No. Yeah, I think it'd be a lot different if he, had torn his ACL last year and then he had an Achilles soreness or, like things like that. But like these injuries do seem to be non-connected and seemingly kind of random. Like nothing about the way he moves scares me. Right. Like I think that was kind of the big concern is like, we've never seen a guy like this. What is this going to look like? I mean, maybe you could make the argument that because of his frame, he's more injury prone than somebody who's 6'3". That's probably true. But no, I'm not. I wouldn't be worrying about that going into next year. I think he's still going to go 1 or 2 in most drafts. All right, this will probably be our last question. We'll see what we get here. How do I get rid of LaMelo? Who should I try realistically targeting, considering the bad shooting splits and the injuries?
I think the Charlotte Hornets are honestly asking themselves the same question. How do I get rid of LaMelo? I think usually in these cases, it's either a your problem for my problem, or you trade LaMelo for 2 guys who are like top 75 players. That is, to me, is probably closer to the more realistic situation, or someone who you think is a crazy buy low. I'm trying to look at like who is top 75 that I would think about. Yeah, so I mean, like if someone had like Miles Turner and I don't even know who else. Miles Turner and Reed Sheppard. That's like, that feels like you're really selling low.
Yeah, I feel like you could do better than
LaMelo.
that.
You could probably do better. Alex Sarr and I don't know. Alex Sarr and Dyson Daniels.
Now we're talking. Yeah,
okay.
Because I still think there's cachet with LaMelo because of the name, because of we know what he's capable of when he's healthy. But I mean, LaMelo is also, one, he's killing you in certain categories, assuming you are in a category league. And then we're also entering like, we're almost in like Kawhi territory with him, where, you texted me this weekend and said he's never played more than 7 games in a row. That's insane.
Yep. So what they said in the Clippers Hornets broadcast, he had never played 7 consecutive games.
Yeah. So it's like, again, it depends on your format. If you're in a daily lineup league, you can move them in and out at will. Then that's not that big of a deal. But a lot of the leagues that we play in, you're locking in a lineup on Monday and you're living with it for the week. And it's like, there is something like cathartic about just not having to worry about that week to week. Even if on paper, he's got a 4-game week, he's fully healthy. It's like every other week, it feels like something's going to come up, or, you're going to deal with that ankle turn again. And there's 2 more months. Like, it's just a tough business to be in, and especially if he's not producing. Like, it's only worth it if he's giving you first round value. And if he's not doing that, I would just look to get out.
Yeah, and the sort of rule of thumb, in my opinion, still applies to this, which is if you're trading one guy and if you want to do a 1 for 2, as long as you're getting 2 guys back that you will start every week, then it's probably a fine trade.
Yeah, Tim jumped in here and said he got rid of LaMelo and Porzingis for Scotty Barnes and Jeremy Grant. That's
fine.
Yeah. You're taking somewhat of a loss, of course. I don't know that I trust Jeremy Grant to be the Jeremy Grant that he's been for the last couple of weeks. But you turn LaMelo and Porzingis at least into Scotty Barnes. Like, you got one, blue chip asset out of it.
Yeah, I think that is probably, it seems like you're on the losing end of that trade, I would say, but I don't really think you are. I think that's a very fair deal for what both parties were looking for.
All right, I want to just run through, because this was the title of our episode, Alex, some of the biggest surprises so far this season. We of course hit on a lot of those, via the chat questions. Great stuff is always there. We appreciate everybody chiming in. But players, I focus my list mostly on like pleasant surprises. Guys who we did not expect to rank where they are right now. Maybe you went in a different direction. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was the top of my list. Again, a guy I just took at the end of a 15-team auction as just a total throwaway. He's somebody who started every week for me. I put Tyrese Maxey on my list. I absolutely love Tyrese Maxey. This is what, 3 years in a row now he's made like another leap, and I'm just starting to wonder, like, is he a top 10 player in the NBA right now? Like, the consistency is ridiculous.
I think we're more surprised because he had a bit of a bad year last year, I will say, and then but the 76ers were horrible, and then he sat down, and I think people got sort of were down on his trajectory. But yeah, I mean, a huge part of what Maxey is doing, obviously he's getting crazy minutes, but a huge part of what makes Maxey so great is he's doing all this stuff. And then you look at his turnovers per game and it's like 1.9 or something. I don't have it up, but it's like, he does not turn the ball over while he's doing all of this. To me, I don't want to call him a superstar, but he is definitely an NBA star. I don't think you can even quibble about that.
Yeah, well, it's tough because so many guys, especially it felt like the first 2 weeks of the season, you look up and there's like 14 players averaging like 28 plus points per game, including like Markkanen and Norman Powell. And it's like, all right, how do we kind of sort through what's real and what's not? But we are over a month into the season, and he's not only averaging 20, he's averaging 33 points per game with, 8 assists. He's the 4th best player in fantasy on a per game basis. And like I don't know if it's because he's on the same team as like Embiid and Paul George, and it's like the Sixers, like he's not really their identity, but like he's producing like a superstar. There's no question.
I mean, and people might say like, well, how is he a superstar if the 76ers are 9-7? It's like, in terms of who minutes played on the 76ers after Maxey, it's a rookie in VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond, Trendon Watford is 6th in total minutes. And like, that's what we're talking about. Is like Maxey can elevate those guys to be a team that could win like 48 games.
So obviously I have Ryan Rollins on the list. I mean, not really a whole lot to say there. I think we're all aware of what he's been doing, which has been great. Alex Sarr, you were all over this in the lead up to the season. He's been just as good, if not better, than you expected him to be. I mean, Concanipple, I think we were high on Concanipple. I don't think we expected these kind of numbers. I mean, he's trending toward, like, I was just looking the other night at like list of who won the rookie of the year and like their basic stats. I mean, he stacks up with just about anybody right now in terms of just the pure counting stats. The efficiency is even better than a lot of rookies, especially guards. I mean, he has been unbelievable.
He just moved into first place for rookie of the year odds,
as he should.
It's over Cooper Flag.
He's been much better than Flag.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Knipple has been fantastic. I watched the Hawks Hornets game the other night, and I was watching the Hawks broadcast, and they were like, they could not believe what they were seeing. They're like, this is insane. And he has turned into, this is kind of a Bill Simmonsism, but like he has turned into one of those guys. Every time he shoots the ball, I'm like, that's going in.
Yeah.
He doesn't take bad shots, knows how to move the ball. He's everything that we thought he would be and more.
Yeah, I mean, the rebounding has been there. I think averaging 3 assists as a rookie on a team where you got a couple ball hogs out there alongside with you, I think is really impressive. I mean, the shooting splits, it's basically 50, 40, 90 on the year, which is also just insane for a rookie who takes that many threes. So wanted to highlight him. And then, I mean, I got a bunch more names. I'm not just going to read this list, but I did put Julius Randle on here only because this was kind of a crossroads of like, all right, which version of Julius Randle are we getting? Are we getting playoff Julius Randle, or are we getting the rest of Julius Randle's career Julius Randle? And the answer has been more so the former.
Yeah, I mean, I was drafting Randle a decent amount. I think the nice thing about, the Timberwolves, the hierarchy of their team and what they do offensively is just, it's in concrete. It's in marble. Like you can't change it because they only have so many guys that can do so much stuff. And so the fact that Randle has just gotten comfortable after last season it's great because he's a stat stuffer and has a high floor in fantasy.
All right, we have a few more minutes here. Is there anybody who came to mind for you? Biggest surprises so far?
Yeah, I guess 3 guys I'll point out. Keyonte George,
Yeah.
another guy I liked coming into the season just in terms of the Jazz needed playmaking and 3-point shooting, and there was only one guy in the roster who could do that, and that was Keyonte George, who still, by the way, cannot shoot threes. He's ironically can't shoot from distance, but has become like SGA level of free throw shooter, essentially. Keyshawn George, another K George. For Washington, we mentioned Alex Sarr, but Keyshawn George, just his ability to become a playmaker, like a creator, in addition to what he's doing defensively, looks really good. And then, I mean, Jaime Jaquez,
Yeah.
like, was essentially out of the rotation for portions of last season, hired a mental coach during the offseason, and now is leading the 6 man of the year odds, I think.
Yeah.
And just looks like a completely different guy and is sort of the epitome of what they're doing offensively. It's very interesting to me. I'm cautiously optimistic that he can continue playing well when Tyler Hero gets there. He's also shooting kind of above his head, and there's stuff you can point to be like, well, you should probably sell high on Jaquez, but I think it's mostly real.
I mean, I'm looking at just pulled the last 10 games. He's shooting 21% from 3. You know, he's not taking very many, but it's not like he's just like banging in 3 threes a night and you're waiting for that to come back, right? This isn't like a Dylan Brooks, Royce O'Neal situation by any means. I mean, the assists have been unbelievably consistent. I mean, you could pencil him in for 6, 7, 8 assists, it feels like, every night.
Yeah, the main thing is like the interior scoring has been such a revelation. And that's sort of the question is like, can this guy continue to be shooting this well at the rim and get to the free throw line this often?
I think in the short term, I mean, this Norm Powell thing, maybe that just almost acts as an offsetting transaction. You know, it's like, let's say Norman Powell misses 3 weeks and it's like, all right, Tyler Hero needs a little time to get up to speed. That probably benefits Jaquez over the next actual week. And then if Hero is Hero starting next week, I mean, Powell was taking a ton of shots, right? It's not like he was out there taking 9, 10 shots a night. It's like, I think that is, you know, I mean, Hero is a little bit more of a playmaker, of course. Maybe that does take the ball out of Jaquez's hands, but I think they can stagger those guys. Like it does feel almost too good to be true. But again, we're out of that like first week and a half where we're talking about a 4-game sample. You know, it's like we got a full month here. We have almost 20 games for some of these teams, and Jaquez really, like, even if you just look at the, you know, the rolling game log, it's not like there's ups and downs. I mean, this has been pretty much every single night.
Yep.
All right, we'll cut her off there. You can, of course, hear all of our episodes right here on the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball YouTube channel. You can catch us in podcast form. We'll have episodes today, tomorrow, and Wednesday this week. Obviously, we've got the holiday on Thursday, so enjoy your Thanksgiving. We'll be back with you, Alex and I, next Monday, and we'll have our full schedule of podcasts running all throughout that week. You see the code right there on your screen. So before you head out, one, give this video a like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and then head over to rotowire.com, put in that code YouTube15, 15% off all of our tools, everything we offer over at RotoWire.